how do you become someone who you want to be? How do you become someone who's your ideal self? And I think it's one of the questions that you should ask yourself, because you know who you want to be, right? You know what kind of person you want to be. But the issue is how you get there. And how are you going to get that ideal self that you want to be? How are you going to achieve that ideal self, right? And I think one of the ways in achieving that ideal self of ours in the future is acceptance. And I mean it in a way wherein you have to accept that not everything will go according to your plan, right? Because you have a plan in mind in order to become that person who you want to be, that ideal self, right? Especially, you know the things that you want to improve on, right? You know the things that you need to be better on. You know the things that you lack on, right? That's why you have a picture of an ideal self in your mind, because you know what you lack on, right? May it be confidence, may it be something in your relationship in life, may it be something how you see the world, how you perceive things, right? It can be anything, as long as it's something that you think you lack of and you think that you should improve on. And that way you know that you have an ideal self. You have an idea of who you want to be in the future, who you want to be in the near future, right? And the only difference is how you are going to achieve it. What are the ways for you to achieve it, right? What are the roads that you're going to take in order to be in that position, in order to achieve and be that ideal self, that person. And as I've said, it's something that I think is very hard to do, especially to accept the things that we lack in, right? And once you accept that, that's the first step in becoming that ideal self of yours. Accepting that there are things that we lack in different aspects in life. And once you realize what those are, you will have an idea of what you should improve on, right? And now the problem that you have, or one of the problems that you will have, is how you will be able to be that ideal self. What's the way? Wait, did the light change? Sorry. There you go. What roads are you going to take in order to be there, right? Should you take the road not taken? Should you take the road that's being taken by everyone else? And as I've said earlier, I think one of the ways of achieving and being in that ideal self is acceptance, right? And not according to plan, or not everything in your plan will go according to how you want them to go, right? And it's one of the steps you can take in being that ideal self of yours. Because I think you can use those detours along the way to shape who you are as a person, to be the ideal self. Use everything that you have at your own disposal to redirect it into becoming that ideal self of yours. And, you'll be shaped by a lot of things in life in order to be that ideal self. You'll be challenged by adversaries. Adversaries? Is that the right term? I hope it is. The adversaries, and how you deal with it and how you come out of those will shape who you are, will shape the road that you will take to be that ideal person that you have in mind, right? And once you recognize that, once you accept it and fully realize and genuinely accept it, I think you are getting closer to that ideal self of yours. And I'm not saying that ideal self of yours is perfect. No, right? No one's perfect. And especially your ideal self, right? Because once you get to that ideal self of yours, you will realize another or some things that you still lack of, right? And I think it will be a cycle of what I want to achieve, and then what I lack in, and how am I going to achieve that. I think it will be a continuous cycle once you get into that rabbit hole. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't strive to be better. No, you should strive to be a better person, right? It's one of the things that I preach in this channel, but I don't know what else to say about this. But because once you like realize the things that you lack in and fully accept them like wholeheartedly, that you have and must work on those kind of things, your own way of dealing with those in improving on those will come, right? But you have to remember that acceptance is the key. Acceptance that it will almost all the time will never go according to your plan. And I know that sounds absurd, but it actually is. And in those moments and in those hardships and in those expected things that will actually really shape who you are, how you will come out of those situations. And I think it's one of the things that we fail to realize as people, that we don't see the value in those unexpected things. We don't see the value out of those things that we didn't want to happen, right? And I don't know why, but I personally think that that's the most important component of shaping who you are. Shaping who you are in order for you to become that ideal self of yours, that ideal person. And I don't know, you can disagree on this take and argument of mine, but I personally and genuinely think that acceptance is, if not the most important factor, most important thing that you need to accept, that you need to realize. And I know there are a lot of ways to be that ideal person that we have in mind, right? There are a lot of ways that we can take to be there, right? But not every way that you'll take will go according to your plan. And what if you don't or you can't accept that kind of outcome? Of course, it's most likely that you will fail and then you'll just give it up. That's most likely to happen if you don't have any kind of acceptance that not everything will go according to plan. And in those moments, I want you to thrive. Thrive in those moments, thrive in those unexpected moments that you didn't expect to happen, but try and, get something out of those experiences to shape who you are. And those will only become failures if you don't learn anything from those, if you don't learn as in anything out of those experiences. And as I've said, I think that's something that will really shape who you are as a person. It's in between those moments. And I don't know, I'm just blubbering again. Again, you can disagree on my take, but I just want to say, as a piece of advice from stranger, me, that in order to become your ideal self, you have to first accept the reality that not everything in your plan will go the way you want them to go. And in those moments that you should actually thrive, that you should actually learn the most. Because it's in those moments that you will be challenged. Your character will be challenged and shaped on how you deal with it and how you come out of it. And I think that's the most important thing in trying to become your ideal self. And I'm not saying this, by the way, I'm not saying this to say that you should not accept how you are right now. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we can always be better. We can always be a better person than we were yesterday, than we are right now. And I know I've talked about change, and this kind of change is something that we should, as people, strive for. Change for the better, right? Realize the things that we lack in. Realize the things that make us bad people. That will, I don't know, how we see the world, and how that views can hurt other people. And I think it's in the key of accepting, as I've said. And it will always go down to introspection, into reflection. And I can't emphasize that enough. I've talked about this a lot in my previous videos. The reflection is actually the most important thing that you need to practice as a person in general. In everything that you do, in everything that you want to achieve, in every step that you take towards your goal, towards your dreams, reflection, introspection is one of the keys, if not the most important key in becoming a better person. And I just want you to hear that. I don't know if you can, or if you agree in my take. Again, you can disagree. I welcome those. I'm an open book with those kind of things. And I guess that's about it. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you got something out of it that you can use for yourself. And maybe realize some things and change your perspective in life. Just a little bit. And I guess that's about it. Stay awesome.